We're just excited about all the program success.
We want to do what we need to do.
Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler. It's time for the first edition of the Zac Bruney Show as we get ready for the 2024 season. Currently joined by Wheeling University head football coach Zac Bruney. And Zach, first of all, you're going to have guys back on campus here on Friday. Talk about the excitement just to get the team back on campus and in camp mode ready for the year.
Well, you kind of miss them, even though it's you enjoy your ability to kind of take some downtime in the summer. Go on your vacations with your family and do some things. But we are excited. Anytime you can kind of feel football in the air a little bit. A lot of the colleges are coming back. The Division I schools are a lot of them are, starting their practices this week. Most of the D2 schools will kick up, reports and practices starting this weekend. And, it's almost time to go, but you have to approach training camp the right way. It is a month of preparation, pretty much. Our guys have worked hard in the off season. We felt like we had a good off season where we improved. We raised the bar in a lot of things from an accountability, responsibility, maturity, getting better standpoint. So we're excited to bring our guys back in. We do have a veteran group of guys that are kind of hoping to lead the dance as far as what the expectations are. And then we're excited to bring the young group of guys in that there's a kind of an aura of mystery around that a little bit because you never know what you're going to get until you get it. But we feel like we have a good recruiting class that'll come in and add to the mix and add to the fold in the right ways. And a lot of times, there can be guys that help us pretty quickly.
And looking at the 2023 season, up and down for you guys. You played really well at times. You didn't play so well at times. Talk about the year and kind of what you learned from that's going to help you into this season.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It was a little bit of a roller coaster, and there was consistency and inconsistency. We played really well at times, and we won some close games against some good teams, and we lost a couple games, one possession games against some good teams. We lost a couple of games where we didn't play well in the second half. So my job as the head coach is to kind of figure out the nuances of what gives our team the best chance to win each and every week. I think if you're at a point in your program, which I think we are now, where you're disappointed with 500, that's a good thing. 3-4 years ago, that wouldn't have been the case, right? But I think our guys might have a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth still from not a disappointing fall, but a fall to where we felt like we left some things out there. But that's over and done with now, and come August 2nd here, everybody starts the year 0-0, and everybody has the same aspirations, goals, and the hopes to win every game that they play, and that's our focus. And learning from that is just you learn from games, you learn from experience, you learn from watching film. You can't coach experience, you can't coach reps in a game, but you take what you've done. You dissect it, you work hard at it, you study it, and then you just look to improve each and every day in some capacity to hopefully give yourself the ability to be successful in everything that you're doing, whether it's playing a game, whether it's going to a practice, whether it's taking a test, whatever the case may be.
And looking at the offensive side of the ball, a lot of guys who got game experience last year, starting with your quarterback room. Javon Davis gets hurt. Landon Lutz steps in, plays great for you guys. Talk about that offensive side of the ball and how that experience is going to help them.
Well, we do have probably more experience returning from a game-playing standpoint this year on offense than we had going into last year. Javon was a returning starter for us at quarterback, was playing very, very well the first 3 weeks of the season, was having an outstanding game against Fairmont State down there at their place last year, and got hurt right at the end of that game, a game that was a great game, a back-and-forth game, a high-scoring game that we ended up winning in overtime. Javon went out right at the end of regulation. Landon stepped in and throws a game-winning touchdown in overtime. Landon was a redshirt freshman last year, gained a lot of valuable game experience that you can't really coach and teach in practice because when the bullets are actually flying, it's different, and it's different especially for a quarterback. Both those guys combined now have over 25 games of starting experience. Our third quarterback last year, Alex Godaharney, did some good things athletically. He's a very dynamic athlete, can run, he's fast, he's athletic, he's explosive. We've moved him around a little bit. He's still practicing in the quarterback room. We've moved him out to, tight end, flex receiver a little bit this spring, giving him some abilities hopefully to contribute more. And then we feel good about the young guys in the room, a couple of the redshirt freshmen and the freshmen coming in. So Coach McNeely's doing a really good job with that group, developing them. But from an experience standpoint, it's always nice to have two quarterbacks that have that game experience, that have won games for you, that have played at a high level. Now it's just about developing consistency, and that's across the board on offense. The offensive line, 4 or 5 starters returning, we have to be more consistent. The receiver room has more experience now than they did last year at this time. Dason Horse, 5th-year player. Day Drummer, 5th-year player. Chris Charles, graduate transfer. Rico Ford, 5th-year player. Stevie Mitchell is playing both receiver and running back for us. A lot of experience. Trey Holloway, dynamic returner, getting better in his receiver, in his receiver skills and in the receiver room. And there's good young guys in the mix that want to push. Stevie Felton at fullback. Another viable guy that battled some injuries last year that wasn't healthy 100% of the year. Hopefully he's back. He is back 100% throughout the summer, worked really hard to give to himself back ready to go. So we feel good about the returning starters, the returning experience, but they have to play that way. They got to practice that way. And with higher expectations and, comes higher standards that you have to hold yourself to. And offensively, that's what we're looking for. And like you said, it kind of starts in the quarterback room, and it helps that you have 2 guys in that unit right now that have hadn't played at a high level for us.
And then looking at the defensive side of the ball, you have a lot coming back who got experience last year. Talk about that side of the ball and kind of what you guys are pushing for on the defensive side.
Well, again, same scenario on defense, to where we welcome back some 5th-year players. And we welcome back some guys that battled some injuries last year that didn't get to play a full season. Up front, Chase Nolan, an all-conference type player, he's back in the mix as a 5th-year player, battled an injury last year. Rashard Jackson kind of stepped up last year in the absence of Chase and played at a high level, played at an all-conference type level for us inside, playing the Tex and the nose position. The guys on the outside that returned, Caleb Grant, one of the top pass rushers in the league. He's back. He battled an injury but kind of played through it. Missed a little bit of the spring season, but he's back. 2 guys into the boundary that play like our outside linebacker position, in Rodney Jackson and Akeem Mitchell, both 5th-year, 4th-year experience type of guys that have played a lot of football. We're excited about those guys. You go back to the linebacker room. Jack Perry returns, 5th-year player. Dalton Hoover returns, 5th-year player. JoJo Holmes is a transfer that came in the spring. He's an experienced college football player, just hasn't been with us more than 15 practices yet. Kayvon Markwood also gained a lot of experience last year, playing a lot on special teams. And then the outside nickel position in Keenan Johnson has played a lot of football. Again, a guy that, battled some injuries but played at a high level. And then you move back to the back end, and, the experience is there with Messiah Thorne returning off an injury, 5th-year player, free safety, quarterback of a defense per se, can kind of to have a guy in the middle at all 3 levels that have a lot of experience, that really helps. Losing Messiah last year hurt us, but we had some guys step up and play to a high level even though they weren't very experienced yet. Justin McElwain is one of those guys who played a lot as a redshirt freshman, a true freshman last year. And then, outside Cam McMillan, James Walker, Brendan Barksdale, all guys that have played a lot of football for us. Now we're counting on them to elevate themselves and play at an even higher level as they, play out their eligibility.
Currently joined by Wheeling University head football coach Zac Bruney. And Zac, finally the third phase of the game, special teams. You guys lose Shane Tomlin at snapper, but you have Trey Brady and Joe Lima both back in the kicking game. Talk about that side of the ball and kind of what they bring.
Well, experience. Shane was a great snapper for us. We feel like we added a good snapper to the mix that will be here with fall camp starting. We added a transfer long snapper in Alex Tappan from Vero Beach, Florida, the same high school as where Trey went to high school. So they were high school teammates. But Trey is an experienced player for us now, stepped into a starter role, has gotten better. Each year he's been with us. Joe was a nice addition last year, took over our place kicking duties, had the unfortunate happening with, where he was at school at Alderson Broadus, but he was able to find a home here with us after that happened. So both have really good capabilities in the kicking game. It allows us to be, pretty diverse in what we want to do, where we want to place the ball. We feel Joe has a very strong leg that anytime we get inside of 50 yards, a field goal attempt is possible. Trey doubles as our holder. So operationally, those guys have a lot of experience. Again, elevation of expectations will be, key for them, and they got to come in and work really hard, and, hopefully they'll produce at the level we expect them to.
And throughout the offseason, some of your former players getting some recognition right here in Wheeling with the Wheeling Miners. They win their AAL2 championship. You had Zay Lewis, Javon Johnson, Aaron Finch, Mont Gaiman, the defensive coordinator. Seeing the success of players after they leave the program, what pride does that give you as a head coach, seeing them go out in the community and make the impact they are? Well,
it was great to have guys back in this area in professional football kind of come back to Wheeling, because it's kind of always been it's been a staple for a long time, going back even to the early 2000s with the Steel Valley Smash, that then became the High Valley Greyhounds, which then became the West Virginia Rough Riders a few years ago, pre-COVID. But football is very popular here. High school, the college teams that we have in this area, and now welcoming back like a pro outfit, an indoor outfit, was exciting to see. I was very happy for our guys. JJ, Isaiah, Aaron, all got to be a part of a championship season, which is great to see. I know my son had a lot of fun going to those games and having that type of experience. And then, those guys getting a chance to play professionally, just locally, but then we had quite a few guys out there in other leagues, in other entities. Sai Ali played a season this past spring and summer in Mexico. Brandon Munoz in his second year with the Jacksonville Sharks. Lowell Patron still playing, and he's still in the playoffs in the IFL for the Green Bay Blizzard. Jason Simon and Fabian McNichols playing down in Texas. Severi Finson, who finished playing for us last year in 2022, his season kicks off him being a European, a European native. He's going to be playing in a European league this summer/fall. They're just getting ready to set their season off. I believe he's playing in a German league. So to see guys having success out, within the game of football professionally is great. But then we also have a lot of guys out there that are having success in the professional world. We've gotten quite a few guys through master's degrees and stuff like that. And by year 7 of a football program, those guys were with us, a lot in the start. It's a point of pride, and I'm really proud of all our guys that have ever come through this program that are doing well for themselves in life.
And finally, as you guys get ready to head into this 2024 camp, what's your message to the guys this year as they prepare for 2024?
Well, we have different program mantras and things that we like to, focus on and be about core value-wise. A standard, some of the messaging this spring was, if you want to get to an elite standard of the way you win, the way you go to class, the way you produce academically, the way you produce in the real world once you get, to the private sector and the professional world, it requires a relentless, unyielding process. And we don't want to be result-driven. We want to be process-driven. And I think that comes from, from people have spoken on that. Nick Saban has spoken on that a lot in his career. I think that's a good approach to have, especially during camp, because it can be a monotonous process, but it has to be, a relentless process, an unyielding process. Don't be focused on the process, the day-to-day process that hopefully will get you to elite results or an elite standard. So if we let our process constantly drive us in what we're doing, then hopefully standards and results will continue to show themselves in a very positive way. But other than that, it's just getting better, improving ourselves each and every day in something, film work, on the field, off the field, taking notes in our meeting room, going to the training room the right way. All things that it takes process-wise to be a good college football player and a good college student athlete.
Thanks, Zach. Good luck in camp here, and we'll see you before you take on Mercyhurst Week 0.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
For Wheeling University Athletics, I'm Zach Ziegler.
We're just excited about all the program success.
We want to do what we need to do.
Thanks, Zach. Go Cards.